it's a lot of money you could be getting. Like if you think about, say, your kid's 18 and they're earning 20,000 a year, well, they're going to qualify. That is tripling your money, just sticking it in there.
But the thing is, a lot of people, myself included, don't know about these grants. When you die, you want to make sure your child is okay. That's what every parent wants. So it's an investment for them.
Divorce can be emotionally and financially overwhelming. That's why I'm teaming up with Sunny Wishart, president and founder of a la carte Financial and a certified financial planner. We will show you how to understand all things money without feeling ashamed, overwhelmed, embarrassed. You will learn more, ask questions. No question is a dumb question. Welcome to Money with Sunny. Let's get into it.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk to you about RDSPs. What are they? Why are they important? When do you need to be looking into them? When do you need to be researching them? How to go about it? This is Money with Sunny. Sunny's here with us today. She's got all the answers for you. I've got all the questions because I don't know a lot about this myself. So here we go. Good morning, Sunny.
Hey, Wendy.
So let's start from the beginning. What is an RDSP?
Okay, so they haven't been around that long, and they aren't really biting yet with a lot of institutions. So they're kind of a little tricky to find sometimes in the big five, but they're a registered disability savings plan. So the spirit of this plan is if you have a child who is disabled, you can create a pension for them. That's essentially what it is. And it's very similar. It works very similar to our ESP, the Education Savings Plan for our kids. And you can, use it in addition to it if you'd like, but it's a way to help people that have children that are probably once they launch out in the world, they're not going to be making the big bucks and create pensions for themselves or enough to support themselves once they retire. So it's a really neat product. And the baseline to know if your kid qualifies for an RDSP is, do they qualify for the disability tax credit? So when you're filing your taxes every year, if your kiddo qualifies for the disability tax credit, they will qualify for an RDSP. So it's an easy way to know if you can get one or not. Now, the intricacies of it have all to do with how much money your house makes. This is how much in grants you're going to get. Again, not unlike the education plan. The lower income you are, the more grants and bonds and things like that they're going to shell out for your kid. Similar with the RDSP. The lower income your household, the more money you can attract on these. And you can get quite a bit. So you can start when your kid's a minor, and it's based on your household income is how much you can get. And I'll get into some of the dollars and cents. And then you could use this up to a lifetime, and you can get grants up until they're 49. So I personally now qualify for an RDSP, and I keep meaning to go set one up because I'm, 49 is not far. I could be getting some grants. So I'm going to give it a whirl. I could maybe, once I go through that process, speak to it a little bit better. But so you'd set it up for your kid. But the interesting thing is, I noticed too, is once your kiddo turns 18, it's based on their personal income. So when you consider this is something I've been considering is, well, in a household with parents who are earning a couple of salaries, you're not going to get as much grants because you're higher income. But once the kiddo is 18 and it's based on their whatever gig they're working, 18-year-olds don't make a lot of money anyways. It's based on that income. They could be attracting a bunch more grants.
Okay, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So you can qualify for an RDSP. Can I qualify for an RDSP?
Do you have a disability?
No.
There you go.
That I know of. So, okay. Okay, so see, I don't understand all this. So what is your disability and why do you qualify for an RDSP?
I'm a type 1 diabetic, so they've just in the last couple of years allowed us to qualify for the disability tax credit.
Okay.
So that's a new thing. The government's looking at the amount of time it takes to be a T1D, to go for the tax credit, and to further go for an RDSP. You got to fill out a lot of forms, and your doctors have to as well. And they have to confirm that you're spending that type of time, because it's all about, I don't have enough time to work a full work week like someone who doesn't have a disability. I'm too busy managing my disability.
So I have a friend who has a grandson who is diagnosed epileptic. Is that a disability that would qualify for this program?
So when it comes to what qualifies and what doesn't, it's a case by case basis. So they would need to get the forms filled out, and there's a list, and it's very clear. Like I went through when they just allowed us to qualify for the disability tax credit. You can walk through, and always your resource when you're looking this stuff up is the CRA. Don't go on wealthwhatever.ca. They're not your resource. The CRA is your resource for firm facts, or phone them. That's it. So on their site, you can see what does qualify and why. And if this epileptic child if epilepsy shows up, okay, that's step 1. 2, how severe is it? Either you can complete that, or if they're not sure, they get the doctor to complete it. And then you can go from there and determine if you qualify.
Okay, so you've gone on the CRA website, you've figured out that your child qualifies for this program. Is this money being matched by the government? How does the system work? Mm-hmm. Who gets the money in the end? How much do you have to keep contributing? Is there an overflow from one year to the next? Like how does it work now?
Okay, so the dollars and cents of how this works. So we've gone through the steps, qualified for the tax credit, set up the RDSP with an institution, with a bank. Now let's start contributing. So it depends on how much you make. So if you earn, and these are from tax brackets from 2021, there's a lag, but if you're below about $98,000 a year in household income, for every $1,500 you put in, the government will put in $3,500. So you put in $1,500, they'll put in $3,500. That's if you make below the 98K-ish per year. And that was a couple of years ago, a bit of a lag in those, but this is more for information. And you can do this up until they're 49, but the max grant they're going to give you is 70K total. And yes, it does carry forward. And then of course, similar to RESPs, there's only so much you can put in each year and so much grant you can attract each year. Now, if your household makes more than the 98,000, they're going to dollar for dollar your contributions up to $1,000 a year. So if you put in 1,000, they'll put in 1,000
per year.
Per year, yeah.
So the max contribution from the government for your child from age 0 to 49 is $70,000.
Yeah, that's when you get to the cap.
That's when you cap out.
Mm-hmm.
And then is this fund an investment fund, like similar to a TFSA, so you can run investments within the fund and grow wealth for your child within that fund?
You bet. You build this up for them like you would any other RSP, pension, like anything you're saving into. You build it up with, your investment risk tolerance, time frame, all that in mind. And yeah, it's very flexible with the investment selection inside the platform. And then it grows. And then the idea is that at 59, it rolls over to start paying out. So at 60, it will start paying out to them. They can't just let it sit there for life. It's going to turn into that pension income generating at 60 for them, which is amazing. And then an interesting part is when it starts paying out, and I have this note and all from, like, again, CRA, they are the true story here. They say payments aren't counted against means tested income, like government programs. So if your child is no longer a child, they're a thriving adult, and then they are turning 60, but they're getting something like ODSP or some other benefit, to help support them with their disability. These payments out of the RDSP aren't going to all of a sudden disqualify them for all these other benefits that they're getting. They're just going to help them along.
So it sounds like a good program.
It's a lot of money you could be getting. Like if you think about, say your kid's 18 and they're earning $20,000 a year, well, they're going to qualify to put $1,500 of that in, and the government puts in $3,500. They're going to qualify for that. That is tripling your money, just sticking it in there. I guess the caveat to it is if you need it next year, they're going to claw everything back. Like they want the money to sit there until you're 59, really. You can get your money back, but it's basically they're going to claw back all their stuff they put in, which is fair because it is a pension. And it's not unlike if you were at a work and there's a vesting period, or if you leave, you lose this. So it's similar to that concept. It is a sit and hold. It is for retirement.
So if it's your child and you want to take care of your child when you die at age 80 and your child is 60, let's say, now your child has a monthly income. So during that time, are you able to invest the money into an account for them, or what's the setup like? How can we do this as parents? And speaking with parents that are primarily transitioning through divorce, they have a child who has a disability and they want to take care of that child. When you die, you want to make sure your child is okay. That's what every parent wants. So it's an investment for them. So how do they go about? They go to CRA website, or they can call you and get all the details and information. You can help them figure it out, set up the plan, everything. What are your recommendations here for next steps?
Well, they would have to get that child tax credit, step one. The kid has to be qualifying for that and receiving that to move forward with the RDSP program. Once that is done, you would go for it and set up the RDSP. And I think you just have to prove they're getting the child tax credit. And then you can start contributing to it. It's like you say, it's once you have that child tax credit kind of out of the way, it's not unlike setting up your RSP.
Great. Okay. So it sounds like a tool that somebody might really want to consider if they have a child with a disability.
Absolutely. And I find these days that we're getting more and more astute to diagnosing certain things, like finding autism spectrums and things like that. So there could be, even if your kid is totally thriving, they could qualify and you can get it like myself. I'm thriving, I'm good, but I qualify, I'll take it.
That's right. Why not? Yeah. We pay enough in taxes. Take what you can. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
If they're going to pay those grants.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, a lot of people, myself included, don't know about these grants. We just don't know. When you don't know, the government's not going to announce it to everybody and say, hey, come on, take advantage of this. You have to know first, and then you can take advantage of it. And that's why we're here. So go to the CRA website and look it up and see if your child qualifies. And this would be something that you'd want to include in your separation agreement for your child as part of the plan for your family moving forward. I guess that would be really important. We're just here to make sure that all your bases are covered and that you can move through this transition and move on to the great and wonderful and awesome life that is all yours and just waiting for you. Anything else that we missed, Sunny?
I think that was pretty good. Just get started on, checking that program out.
Well, thanks for being here with us today. And if you enjoyed this video and you learned something from it, keep on learning. Check out this video on how to create, prepare, what to look for, how to put together your separation agreement. And we'll see you again next time.